German court jails his bride for crimes against humanity.
Here's a summary of the article.
The Munich Higher Regional Court on Monday jailed a German woman for 10 years after hearing she had stood idly by as a 5-year-old Yazidi slave girl was left to die of thirst in the sun. The court found W guilty of 2 crimes against humanity in the form of enslavement, as well as aiding and abetting the girl's killing by failing to intervene. After the girl fell ill and wet her mattress, the husband of the accused chained her up outside as punishment and let the child die an agonizing death of thirst in the scorching heat, prosecutors said during the trial. The accused allowed her husband to do so and did nothing to save the girl. During her testimony, the girl's mother said she was forced to watch her daughter die. His ongoing trial, the first against a former IS militant to deal with the IS genocide of the Yazidi, has attracted international attention. In July, a court in Hamburg sentenced the widow of an IS terrorist to extra jail time for using enslaved Yazidi girls to clean her home.
This post received a score of 6,000, with an upvote ratio of 98%. Here are the top comments in response to this article.
Enslaved a mother and child, then let the child die of thirst while tied up outside. And she was part of the morality police that looked to punish women in his territory? She deserves more than 10 years.
What a total piece of shit of a person.
If they were a former friend, family member, I'd make sure they knew that I didn't want any baby killers on my property or in my house when they ever got out of prison.
This is just heartbreaking. Life is hard and fragile as it is. Why would anyone treat a fellow human being, worse, a helpless child, this way? And in 7 years this person will be back to enjoying her life amongst us all. Utterly disgusting.
It's disgusting that crimes against humanity only get you 7 years.
She got 10 years for aiding and abetting attempted murder, 'cause that's what got her the longest punishment of all her crimes.
10 years for 2 crimes against humanity? I know people that went to prison longer for growing a plant. This is some bullshit.
It's hard to understand how she was able to justify to herself that buying a woman and child to use as slaves was in any way, shape or form a good idea. You would think that growing up in Germany she would have repeatedly learned that all humans have equal value, and that no person should own another person. But that seems to have been lost along the way. The sad thing is that if they had bought a puppy instead, I am sure she would have saved the puppy from dying out there in the heat.
You know how there are people who say things like, without the fear of God, we'd all be out murdering and raping, and you suddenly realize that for them, they actually really do think that way? This is that. This lady was always a seething nightmare, but she was constrained by the system around her, so she sought out one that let her loose but without also condemning her to hell for her actions.
Greater than you know how there are people who say things like, without the fear of God, we'd all be out murdering and raping, and you suddenly realize that for them, they actually really do think that way? This is that. Yeah. I've actually been told in person by religious people that, without God's, what's to stop you from raping and murdering? Maybe because I don't want to do those things?
Greater than the question I get asked by religious people all the time is, without God, what's to stop me from raping all I want? And my answer is, I do rape all I want. And the amount I want is 0. And I do murder all I want, and the amount I want is 0. The fact that these people think that if they didn't have this person watching over them that they would go on killing, raping rampages is the most self-damning thing I can imagine. Penn Jillette.
This video was automatically created by Reddit to speech. The article and comments in this video were selected from Reddit according to their upvotes, and any paraphrasing was performed by smmry.com, without any human intervention.